You might suck as a Christian. Or if you don't, you probably know someone who does. Hi, I'm Jeremy. I'm a deep skeptic, also a pastor. I'm writing a book with you, How to Not Suck as a Christian. Chapter 1, but do you suck as a Christian? Chapter 2, take the Bible seriously, not literally. Like maybe we send some copies to people. Chapter 3, be pro-choice because God is pro-choice. Chapter 4, stop the homophobia. What if we just take a couple of copies and leave them on the coffee table in the lobby of the homophobic megachurch next door? Another chapter, God isn't white. Another one, atheists are doing okay. And another one, don't make God small enough to agree with you in everything. So I finished the first 2 chapters, and I'd like to send them to you, also give you a free copy of the book. I'm going to explain that in just a second. I'm also going to read a little bit of the first chapter of the book so you get a sense of it. This book we're doing together is, I'm writing content like the content you find on my page, and you are all suggesting fantastic chapters. Keep suggesting those in the comments. Also, we're not trying to wait 2 years for traditional publishers that I've used in the past to get this out. We're going to try to do this ourselves. So we need to raise a little bit of money, not a ton of money, but you can go to howtonotsuckbook.com, howtonotsuckbook.com, is the links in the bio, and pitch in anything. You're going to get these 2 chapters of rough drafts, all the other rough drafts, and a free copy of the book when it's finished. All right, had to come down to the office, creating space to be able to read this to you. I use Scrivener because I write books, and Scrivener is the best. So here's the first chapter, Do You Suck? There's a strong possibility that you suck as a Christian. In my experience, especially on TikTok, the more confident you are you don't suck, the more likely you actually suck as a Christian. Before we go any farther, we need to pause for a couple of seconds because sometimes people don't track with slang like sucking. And I'm going to tell a story about how this lady went to my pastor's office and was like, Jeremy was being vulgar in his sermon. And the pastor was like, what are you talking about? He used a word that was really bad. And what was the word? She's like, I'm not going to say it. And I say, I don't think I said anything inappropriate. Can you give me a hint? And the pastor looked at me and said, you used the word sucked. And I'm like, I don't understand. How is that inappropriate? And then she was like, it refers to a sex act. And I was like, ooh, no, that's not what that's not what that means. It means not good. So that's what we're talking about. Now, back to the reading. If someone gave this to you, it's fair to say they may have thought that you suck as a Christian. Don't be offended. They have given this to you because they want you to do better. And they think you are smart enough to be able to read. And they respect you enough to think that you might be able to both read and change. Reading and changing, it's a lot to ask from people, right? As far as I'm concerned, the biggest miracle we get to see in this world is real, meaningful, positive change in other people. And whoever gave you this book thinks you are one of the rare people capable of that miracle. But maybe you bought this book for yourself. In that case, bravo, you're likely taking a step ahead. Somehow you have been able to accomplish this feat that is almost unheard of in the modern world, self-reflection. So you've been able to be honest enough with yourself to realize that you aren't perfect, that you might be wrong, and that you likely suck in some way at being a Christian. And so to be brutally honest, you're probably right. You probably suck. But when you start there, you can be sure you're on a journey. I'm actually contractually obligated to use that word since I have over 20,000 followers on a social media platform. A journey towards positive change. And not just changing yourself, but being an agent of positive change in the world. If there is anything I think Christianity should be, it's an agent of positive change in the world, and that doesn't happen through an ideology. It happens through people being careful. There's real danger in these pages. The words here can hurt. I'm serious. When someone calls out a place that you suck, it hurts. I know that well. Just before I sat down to write part of this book, I had another video go viral on TikTok and had about 3,000 different people tell me I was wrong, evil, and going to hell. Those used to hurt, but the scar tissue really helps. However, along the way, in reading and responding to those comments, about 10 people pointed out some places where I actually got things wrong and truly sucked. Those hurt because they were true. For most of us, That kind of exposed pain makes us recoil. Our default response is to protect ourselves from the pain by pretending we were right when the pain is trying to tell us we kind of suck in that area. That's a danger in the book, the recoiling, not the pain. Don't let it happen. When some of the words in this book make you recoil, when they resonate in that vulnerable place, do your best to stay there, to stay open. Let me be clear, that may be the hardest thing anyone can ask of you, to stay present with pain, but that's where the good stuff is. That's where you begin to really see yourself and shift into a better place. So when you feel the instinct to recoil, stop, look up, feel what's going on and make a decision. Consider what it will take not to recoil. Consider what it will take for you to be able to avoid entrenching yourself in the suckiness. It may be that you need to keep reading after taking a couple of deep breaths, of course. Or you might need to put the book down for a bit and walk and think. Or you might need to leave the chapter for a minute and go to another one. Do what you need to do, but don't recoil. So that's part of that first chapter. And I really am excited to get to do this together. You can go to the link in my bio, howtonotsuckbook.com, pitch in. You're going to get this chapter and the other chapter that talks about not taking the Bible literally and like how you do that when you pitch in any amount of money, and you'll get a free copy of the book when it comes out.